Oh my god, you guys are going to see my face up close and personal today, and I am sorry. I'm definitely sorry about that. We have no other choice. My face is just going to be in full view for the entire thing. How is everybody? Scott, you're in perfect time. I'm running a little bit behind because technical issues. You see a Pokeball? Yes, you do, Kelly. I have originally it's meant to actually stick to your car there, but sadly, I thought if I put that on my car, somebody's going to try and nick it. So it's now on my bedside table because it can be. You can see a lot of things that you don't normally see, like my penis pillow. Look at the penis pillow. He's just chilling. He's just chilling back there. You can see a lot. Like you can see my bats up close now. Love the little dick. You gotta have the little dick. Right, we're just gonna chill for a minute before we start any discussion stuff. So if anybody wants to get a drink... He doesn't look very excited. He's a little dick. How can he be excited? The poor bastard's only got little balls. Leave him be. Fucking hell. Tacking. Tacking already. What's going on now? Despicable. Despicable behaviour from the lot of you. Poor little bastard. Didn't even have a chance. But yeah, if you guys want to grab a drink and something to eat, we're not going to start for like another 5 minutes. So I just want to wait while people get in here, see how everybody is, and then we will start the discussion today. I'm really nervous about this. I'm not going to lie. Thank you, Nanny. I look very tired today. I don't know if the webcam picks it up, but I look shattered. I have piled on the makeup to hide the fact that I have been up and had like 3 hours sleep last night. Oh well. I'm prepared with a drink. I have a cauldron mug. I forgot I had this. So I was like, this is perfect for today. I was going to have tea in it, and the weather's too hot for that bullshit, so... I've done a lot of fucking work for this as well. Like, I've got a Word document. Like, I haven't done a script as such, but I've done stuff like figuring out topics, what I'm going to say. Make sure I've got all the correct information and shit. I didn't, I'm afraid, Nanny. I was busy last night responding to messages through Discord regarding this podcast. So I'll check it out after stream today. So yeah. How is everybody? How's everyone's day been? Are we doing good? If we're doing bad, why are we doing bad? What's going on? Who do I need to beat up? Salem's going to be dropping some information as the day goes on. So we'll see how Salem does. Salem's popping off though at the moment. He's give me some information. Tired. I need beer and money. I don't know about the beer, but I need money. I get paid tomorrow, so I'm excited about that. So, hi Double, how are you? I like the fact we've got so many people chatting already. This is nice. I'm happy you guys are all here to join me. If I screw up at all, please don't laugh at me. I'm generally like... I'm generally a bit nervous about this. I've never done a podcast style thing, and generally with the topic that we're going to speak about is a bit touchy. Yeah, Spoons After Work is happening tomorrow, I reckon. Good choice. Good choice, Scott. You're living it. Good times. What are we thinking about the setup for the podcast? Does this look okay so far? I thought you definitely need to see... I've got it mixed up. You definitely need to see the chat. Obviously, I'll be responding to you guys as we go along through the night. So, just try to mix it around. I don't like my my header at the moment. I don't like this bit. I think it looks a bit odd, the rest of it, but it's a work in progress, alright? I'm trying my best. Sometimes your best isn't good enough. Damn it! Bankers, not hunting. I was gonna say, I saw the post on, I forgot where I saw it online when they're like, yeah, there's been a rat spotted in Sheffield Spoons, and I was like, oh shit. I'm glad I haven't gone there for a while. I've got shit all around me. I've generally, like, I've got Word documents open, I've got websites open, I've got a little notepad with some shit. And I'm back. I think my connection's back, maybe. Damn it, Lewis! Why is your internet breaking today? I'm already gonna run out of Coke, I think. The main point of today's discussion is going to be regarding mental health, so I'm going to go through definitions of it because people seem to be unclear about that. We're going to talk about the effects of it because some people tend to think it's the same old stuff when there's quite a few bits linked towards mental health. Symptoms, we're going to go through a couple of life experiences. I've got some stories from other people who have kindly, well, put their stories forward to me. And we're just going to talk about generally how we can help one another, because I think definitely in this day and age at the moment with a lot of what's going on, that we need to talk about mental health more. I think everyone's guilty saying, oh yeah, we all check on our friends, but sometimes we forget. Well, that's the thing. I'm currently in the process of dealing with a lot of shit. And I thought, it's not only perfect... Okay, phone, calm down. Chill out. But I thought, let's discuss it. Like, let's get a genuine discussion going, because we all say online, we need to talk about mental health more, but I don't think we do. I think a lot of us kind of shy away from it as if it's a taboo subject, and it's not. It's something that happens to a lot of people. And I'm hoping this podcast will help some people out there who may be suffering, or people who just want another way of coping with stuff, or educating people who don't necessarily have it on how they can help somebody who does. That's the main goal for today. That is the main one. So, are we all ready to start discussing? Are we all good? Does anybody want a quick minute to go and get a drink or something? Jake had a cake, how are you? Can I have some of the cake? What cake is it? Got is ready. Can I get an eye in chat if we are ready to discuss? Can I go for a quick shy? Oh, Kelly, I love you. Go on. Go on. We wait. We wait for Kelly to have a shy. Hello, Gravy, my dear. How are you? Gonna need a hot chocolate with this one, but It's chocolate cake, damn right. I mean, I wish it was red velvet, but it was... All I got in my head, Kelly, was that woman who's coming into the room with those two fucking girls. Which one of you doesn't know how to flush the toilet after she's had a shit? Disgusting. Functional chair, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome. I only eat chocolate. Damn it. Well, I'll settle for chocolate cake. Disgusting. Oh, we've got Dorito in chat. My type of thing, this. Fucking Doritos here as well. Right, let me get my shit up. Let me get my shit up. Oh, what have I done? I've messed around my files. I see your Dorito and I raise you a pizza. Oh, right. I have to do it this way, aren't I? Right, so, as we're starting, I want everybody to go into this with an open mind. Be respectful of other people's opinions regarding mental health. Be very, very careful about what some people say. I don't mind people dropping jokes here and there as long as we can all laugh at them, but don't joke about something that's possibly going to make somebody uncomfortable. Like, the main point of this podcast is everyone feels comfortable talking about this. That's why I want a nice environment, so if any of you fuckers get out of line, you're going in naughty corner. Right? Are we good? Have we got an understanding? Was that aimed at me? You may not ask me a kinky question. My uncle is mentally disabled, so I'm good, yeah. Like, this is going to be a touchy subject. Like, some people may feel uncomfortable talking about this. Like, I get that. And I have failed to understand. Well, I know I'm inappropriate, but come on. Right. Right then, somebody's getting testy. And I go in the corner. Okay, let's not get the wrong idea about this corner, guys. Like, it's not a kinky corner. This isn't that type of podcast. I said we may talk about fetishes in another one, but fucking hell. Guys are on it already. Shit. Right. So, because a lot of people don't understand the definition even of a mental illness, from what I have looked up, the definition is a person's condition with regard to their physical and emotional well-being. It doesn't just cover one thing, it covers a very wide spectrum. So, people need to take into consideration, you can't always see a mental illness. Sometimes it is all within the mind, it's all mental. So, like, a large portion of people suffer from mental illness. Like, I've even got statistics if you just give me uno momento. So, this is UK, and I've found the statistics for the US as well. So approximately 1 in 4 people in the UK will experience a mental health problem each year. In England, 1 in 6 people report experiencing a common mental health problem, such as anxiety and depression, in any given week. And then for America's statistics, 1 in every 5 American adults experience mental health issues. 1 in 10 young people experience a period of major depression. 1 in 25 Americans live with serious mental illness. Like, those statistics are fucking high. Like, just think about it. Like, the UK one, 1 in 4 people. How mental is that? There's a lot of people suffering with mental illness. That's what baffles me. And even though there's this many people suffering with it, not many people seem to be talking about it. So, then you also have to consider the amount of people who just... Exactly, like, there are tons of people out there who are still afraid to seek help, or maybe, in the nicest way of saying this, are maybe in a bit of denial about the fact that they may have a mental illness. Like, there's so many people out there who probably have gone undiagnosed. And that's what baffles me, and that's what I worry about, is there's people out there who aren't seeking help or don't know how to handle the situation. So, next part, we're going on to stuff like symptoms and what can be classified as a mental illness, because I think a lot of people often just think of it as depression, anxiety. It's not. Like, you'll be amazed about how many, like, subcategories there are. So the first one is anxiety and panic attacks. I will hold my hands up and say I am a sufferer of anxiety and panic attacks. I get very extreme panic attacks. Playing League is a mental illness. You know what, Jordan? Yeah. Fuck. But yeah. And just a brief description of, like, anxiety and maybe panic attacks. Hello, Matt. How are you? Welcome. Anxiety is a normal emotion that we experience, but becomes a mental health problem when somebody finds it really hard to do basic things. He ain't wrong. Agreed. Who was that? Right, I'm gonna butcher this name, and I am sorry. Can I call you Tix? Oh, mental health. Shit. Let me just fix that quickly. Oh yeah. Mental health. Damn. God, I can't even spell today. Fuck, hardcore. Shit. Thank you for pointing that out, Matt. I wonder if some people join this podcast thinking, this isn't what I signed up for. Why are we discussing this? I thought we were talking about hardcore metal. I'm sorry. So where were we at? We were on about anxiety, weren't we? So, anxiety is... The best way that I describe it is you almost just get nervous about everything. Like, your brain's constantly on high alert. And it can trigger fight or flight mode. There! God damn it, I can't get my words out today. But yeah, and often very serious cases of anxiety can lead to panic attacks. Again, I am a sufferer. And panic attacks, I don't want to just say my experience from them, because I know a lot of people experience different things when they have a panic attack. Like, a panic attack for me is my chest feels unbelievably tight. I can't breathe. I can't think straight. But I had a friend who, whenever she had a panic attack, she couldn't feel anything in her hands. She would often Like, she used to work with me. She used to drop things because I could tell she was having a panic attack. Like, she couldn't get any feeling. This is why I don't want to generalize what a panic attack is. Like, everyone experiences it differently. If anybody would like to share if they've had a panic attack and they feel differently about it, please go ahead, because it's mental. There's that many things that can change when it comes to a panic attack. Absolutely mind-boggling to me. And then one of the other subcategories is bipolar disorder. Just somebody asking, how's your health? I had a panic attack and lost sight for like 10 seconds. See, this is what I mean. I drink alcohol to stop them. Probably not the best way to do it, but it is what it is if that's your way of coping. Friend froze in the shower. Her flatmate had to rescue her. Yeah, exactly. Like, this is why I said I didn't want to like generalize my version of a panic attack, because I know that's not everybody's version of a panic attack. Sorry if you can hear dogs barking. My breathing ability goes AFK for several seconds. You see? Like, I had 2 the other day at work, and I had to collapse to the floor because I just couldn't get my breath back. Like, I generally felt like something was squeezing on my chest so tight that I couldn't breathe, and it's scary. I had a housemate who lost the ability to speak until he calmed down. A problem when he's not a native speaker. Bloody hell. Damn. This is what I mean, though. This is why I said if people want to share their bits and chime in, absolutely, because I didn't know about half these. I didn't know any other way to describe a panic attack other than my own experience of it, and that's not everybody's version of it. So your next subcategory of something that's classed as mental illness is bipolar disorder, and a bipolar disorder is a diagnosis given to somebody who experiences extreme periods of low, aka depressed, or high manic moods. So this is somebody whose moods can change very quickly over little things. Like, I've seen people who say, oh, this person's being snappy with me. You may not know it, they may suffer from bipolar disorder. And it varies. Like, some people have really extreme bipolar disorder, some people have very mild versions of it. But again, you probably won't know unless your friends told you that they have bipolar disorder, or if they tend to get snappy very quickly and you notice it quite a lot, maybe it's worth mentioning to them something, but in a nice way. Obviously, don't just be like, you're snapping at me, you've clearly got bipolar disorder. No, that's not what I'm talking about. It's regularly doing it. And like, their mood can go from this through the fucking roof very quickly. Then your next one that kind of fits into your mental illness is depression. Again, suffer right here. And depression is a diagnosis given to somebody who's experienced low moods and who finds it hard or impossible to have fun or enjoy their lives. Yeah, it often manifests as depression because you don't go to the doctors when you're happy and yeah, like, I'll discuss this in a bit, but a lot of this stuff kind of goes in hand. But yeah, depression. Me. And I've heard a lot of people say this. People never, when I tell them I'm a sufferer of depression, they never believe me. Because I'm quite a smiley person. But I don't want to affect people with my mood. So I often cover it up. I feel like sometimes I deserve an Oscar for my performance. Leonardo DiCaprio, moved aside, please. But it's weird, because some people go through seasonal depression, some people go through periodical depression, some people get depression for a small part of time. Like seasonal depression, I know friends who get depressed during winter because of the weather change, and it severely affects their mood. For me, it's just, it comes and goes in stages. I deal with it every day to some extent, but I have weeks or months where it's a lot worse. Like, as you guys know, today I went to the doctor because I have been in a very, very bad place. And it's been like that for a very, very long time. I have low confidence and self-esteem too, Nikki. Me! Like, I'm trying to make this... Like, if anyone ever thinks I'm joking about this stuff, I'm not. I'm just trying to make it a bit more lighthearted so we can get along with it. What else have we got? Then we've got eating disorders. Now, this is one I want to clarify because people think when they think of an eating disorder, I think everyone's mind goes to anorexia. It's not. So, eating disorder. An eating disorder is a diagnosis given to somebody who has unhealthy thoughts, feelings, and behaviour about food and their body shape. Exactly. You can eat for comfort. Good evening, sir. I like the fact that you called us wiggly people. Ooh. But no, like, I've had a friend that suffered from body dysmorphia where I wanted to kill her for it because she had the most amazing body in the world. But whenever she looked in a mirror, because we went to the gym together, she'd be like pulling at her skin going, oh, I need to get rid of this and this. And I was like, this is so sad. But it's not just anorexia, it's also somebody who comfort eats or has an unhealthy relationship to food, whether that be undereating or overeating. It does, like, at first she never told me about it and I was just there like, you're saying this in front of me who's a big lady and it stresses me out. And then she explained it to me and I was like, actually I understand now. That you view yourself very differently to how I view you. Like, it sucked for her because she had such an amazing body and she used to push herself in the gym so much thinking she needed to get rid of all this stuff that nobody else could see apart from her. It was almost like her brain was making it up for her. We are all wiggly people. Who was all... May I ask, are you grieving or did something happen? I've been suffering now for like 4 or 5 years. And I think mine's been linked to different things. I'm not grieving or anything like that. So there's certain stuff that has an impact on my life, which I'll get into later when we get into like the main topics, but it is what it is. I once put a carrot up my bum. Okay, I'll see how that went. Sorry, I need a minute for that one. Oh, that made me chuckle. Jesus Christ. Well, I hope it was pleasurable for you. Fruity. Carrot is not a fruit, Scott. The vegetable. What about... I did briefly answer Bake Out of Cake's question. I'm going to go into more detail about it once we've got through like the main topic part. 15 years. Shit. That's a long time, Nanny. Damn. So, one of the next ones you've got is Obsessive Compulsive Disorder. OCD for short, which a lot of you will probably recognise more. Potential sufferer, as I want to think. Obsessive compulsive disorder is a mental health diagnosis given to somebody who experiences obsessive thoughts and compulsive behaviour. So, a lot of people think OCD just relates to somebody who's constantly a clean freak, and it's not. It's about people who have patterns and routines, and when they get knocked out of those routines, it really affects them. I got depression and social anxiety brought on by past experience. I put a front on so much all the time. I didn't grieve about my uncle when he killed himself. Depression is so much more than being sad sometimes. It's trying to be a strong person when others are down. Kelly, I couldn't fucking agree with you more. Like, I think a lot of us, especially those who deal with depression, often put up a front. I think we are all guilty of doing that. We all like act like we're okay when we're not. And like, I'll hold my hand up and say that. I always do it. That's why I said about the fact that I should get an Oscar for my performance sometimes. OCD isn't taken seriously because it's glorified by social media. I couldn't agree with you more on Functional Chair, really. Like, this is why they possibly suspected me of having it, was because I used to get a panic attack if my route to work was changed by sudden roadworks. And why was that? Because something was knocking off my routine that I'd already set in my head. It often happens at work where I set myself tasks to do throughout the day, and if something gets in between that, I then start to panic, thinking, oh my god, I'm not going to get my jobs done, this has knocked me out of it. Like, it's not just about somebody who's obsessed with cleaning. It could be somebody who has certain routines that they must do. Like, I remember, I think it was Coronation Street, and I haven't watched that in ages, but they dived into it a bit there, where there was one of the characters on there who was constantly like flicking off the light switches. They were constantly having to check doors and windows to make sure they were locked. It's not just about somebody who's clean. There's a broad spectrum to it. I have autism, I need my daily routines. Yeah. Exactly. Like what Living Dead said. Like, you have daily routines, and if something knocks that, it can physically, like, knock you out for the day. Hi, Pegas, how are you? No, like, to be fair, obviously I'm not going to say where I used to work, but my old job, I regret sometimes leaving because, like, it was not chilled because obviously we had a lot of busy weekends, but you did have a set routine there. Like, nothing tended to get in the way of that. It was what it was. We had a set of 6 glasses, one broke. I had a breakdown. I can laugh about it now. No, because when it happens, though, you can't laugh about it. It's something that's physically knocked you. It's ruined your day. That's the thing. When something happens, when you have stuff like OCD, one little thing that may not seem major to somebody will knock you out for the rest of the day. Not just social media. Look at films and TVs, even as recent as a few years ago, making glorified characters with various disorders. And sure, it's better now, but you still get characters. Yeah, agreed. I mean, I work in catering. Yes, depression has been sexualized. I'm gonna let this comment go through, but I'm gonna say no, that is not a mental health problem. That is a decision somebody has made for themselves. Like, being trans is not a mental illness. From what I've heard of anyway, it's a choice. It's somebody who doesn't feel right in their body and they've decided to make that change. So, that's that. Then the next one is personality disorder. If somebody has a personality disorder, some aspects of their personality might affect them in ways which make it difficult to cope with day-to-day life, especially when it comes to relations. Agreed, Kelly. Agreed. So, personality disorder. Who recently struck off transgender being a mental illness issue? I don't think it is. No. It's somebody who doesn't feel comfortable in their own body and wants to do something about it. So, well, not being funny, the Who can suck my dick. So where was I at? Personality disorder. So, I have never met somebody who has a personality disorder. Actually, now that I think about it, maybe I do. But these are people who, as it says, tend to switch their personality in certain situations. Is that your... No, like, I don't have any lights on at the moment. That's just the sun. My ring light is on me, and I have 2 candles. But you can see my room. Weird, isn't it? This is my living environment. Okay, what's next? Post-traumatic stress disorder, also known as PTSD. Potential sufferer right here. I'll go into the detail of it, and I'll give you a brief explanation. So, post-traumatic stress disorder, also known as PTSD, is a diagnosis given to somebody who's developed a certain set of symptoms following a traumatic event. My past relationship has caused me to speak to the doctors and them giving me a diagnosis of PTSD. That's what one of the main conclusions was from today. That it fucking sucks. Like, this isn't... I'm not saying this in a disrespectful way. When somebody says PTSD, I think a lot of us think of people who have come back from war. Absolutely genuine. Thank you for doing your service to your country. But it's also little things that can impact somebody. So it can be a death of somebody that can cause you to have PTSD. It could be seeing something that your brain just doesn't agree with. Chris, yes. Yes, I've never went into detail about it, but very much so it's the person that we both know. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. So it sucks. And I think it's such a difficult thing to deal with. Like, when I finally started talking to people, guess what? You don't realise that could be part of your issue. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it. I'm now on a waiting list for counselling because of the situation. Yeah, it's shitty. And like, I don't think people realise what impact they can have on people. My phone is going off. Let me silence it for a second. You're interrupting me, Pikachu. But yeah, PTSD fucking sucks. Mr. Kermit, if you're going to keep typing Fortnite, you will be removed from the chat. Just saying. The next one, oh god. This is where my brain's going to have an absolute fucking fart. Is it psychosis? Probably should have looked up how to say this before stream. A person experiencing psychosis perceives the world in a different way than those around them, including hallucinations, delusions, and both. Right, mate. There we go. Hello, Holbin, how are you? Yeah. Like, I watch a family vlogger whose son has autism, and he very much has almost like a voice in his head. I have spoken to people who do deal with voices in their head that make them view what's going on in a very different situation than what's actually happening. That's got to fucking suck. Like, I don't know what it's like for that person. I'm not going to pretend to be here like, I know exactly what they're going through and all this. I don't. I really don't. I just finished an 11-hour shift and want to go to the pub, but payday's tomorrow. A good way to do it, you know. I have Asperger's. Oh god, mate. Beggars. I want to move this fan away from me, but it's fucking hot at the moment. Yeah, like, a lot of these stuff as well can be linked to autism. Tapping into... I'm about to get into schizophrenia, so don't worry. So, schizophrenia. Schizophrenia is a diagnosis given to people who experience symptoms of psychosis alongside what are called negative symptoms. Again, I have no experience with this. I haven't dealt with anybody who's had schizophrenia. I know one of my friends' fathers had schizophrenia, and I can't imagine what that's like. It's got to absolutely fucking suck. But I would say in that situation, your best bet is seeking a doctor. Like, I think most people admit that they don't know how to deal with that. Guy I used to know heard voices. He's been sectioned 3 times, self-harmed, and has threatened suicide a few times. Like, this is what I mean. Stuff like this. Talking him down is not... No, I can imagine it's not. If you're ever put in that situation, it's... ugh. Heartbreaking. It's physically and mentally testing to try and talk somebody down from those situations. It's horrible. Gone through it. Never ever would I wish that on my worst enemy, trying to talk somebody down from stuff like that. It's bad. And then we have self-harm. This is a big one, and I know some people probably feel uncomfortable going on about this one. This is also a personality disorder, which sorts of come from schizophrenia as well, called SPD. This is why I'm glad we've opened up the discussion, because I'm learning stuff here and so is everybody else. That is the stuff of nightmares. Absolutely agreed. Like, horrible. Absolutely horrible. Then the big one, and I want everybody to be respectful of this, don't make jokes about this one especially, is self-harm and suicidal feelings. So self-harm is when somebody purposely hurts themselves, usually in order to cope with intense emotional distress. And then I'm also going to link that to the suicidal feeling, which is when somebody intentionally takes their own life. It's very complex issues. people who feel suicidal for various reasons. I have had those very negative thoughts before. I will never act on them because I have seen the amount of heartbreak it leaves behind. It leaves so much for everyone else to deal with. Like, imagine, I don't care what anyone says, they may say, like, my family won't care. Your family will care. Your friends will care. People will care. Like, please don't ever leave somebody in that situation. If you were ever in that much of a bad state, please. Like, this, even if you don't feel comfortable talking to your family or friends about the situation, there are so many places you can call. Like, at some point, my bot will bring up a load of numbers for people like Samaritans, mental health counsellors. I've got it all listed, so if you ever feel that bad, please contact somebody. Like, I'm pretty sure your friends would rather you speak to them, even if it's bad, rather than you do something like that. Like, it's not worth it. It's horrible. Like, those feelings, having those feelings myself have sucked. And I will admit I have self-harmed in the past. And for me, it wasn't a way of coping. I don't think it's... I'm going to say it as it is, and this may offend somebody. It's a very, very stupid way of coping with an issue. Like, with glorification of social media and movies and TV, I feel self-harm and suicide is misrepresented. Yes. Right, I'm going to say this. 13 Reasons Why is a Netflix series that was translated from a book that was incredibly well written. I read the book, but they glorified it so much as to seem like it was this cool, edgy thing that somebody was doing, and that fucking sucks. That is so shitty. And, like, some of the scenes that they put in there were never in those books. I watched that series because I enjoyed the book, and I was like, I want to see how they do this. The fact that they showed somebody getting raped stuck with me for fucking ages. It was disgusting. And then the bathtub scene, not necessary. Nobody needs to see that. Like, the stuff that they showed is disgusting. It's bad. It's not. Suicide isn't selfish. I will never say that. I just think there are so many different ways to try and go about it. And I understand that if you're in that position, you are at rock bottom. Like, that's the only way I could describe it. It's like you've reached a point where you think nothing can get better, but it can. Very much can. Like, this is why I said to people, I want people to come in with an open mind, like, and listen. Like, suicide isn't selfish at all. It's somebody who feels like they've got nothing else left. And when you're at that stage, it's very hard to see otherwise. And a lot of the time, this person might not even let on to it. Like, let's talk about, if I butcher his name, I apologise so much, Etika. Nobody saw that coming until the point where he released that video saying that he's sorry. And I watched that video, and it was so heartbreaking to see somebody who's come to terms with what they're about to do already. Like, he seemed so at peace with it. And what annoyed me the most is you could see all the people walking past him after what he was saying, and nobody turned around and said, "Are you alright, mate? Like, do you want to talk?" That's what disgusted me the most. The only people who took notice to help was, like, me. It's... No, I know. I'm just reading through some of these now, and I know that people say, oh, it's so easy not to do it. It's not. Like, I'm going to say it as it is. I almost ran myself off the road in November when I hit my major point. I was so dead set on, I'm going to run myself off the road. I'm not going to harm anybody. Pulled over, took a breather, sat there for a good half an hour to an hour and just debated about myself. What am I doing this for? Like, do I really think there's nothing that can help me through this? And I thought, you know what, there's got to be something. It's such a subject. This is one of the ones I was nervous about talking about, because I know some people say suicide's selfish and some people say otherwise. Obviously, we all have different opinions. Personally, I do not think it's selfish. I think it's somebody who is really, really struggling to cope with what's going on at the moment, and they feel like that is their only resort. And I wish that everyone would understand it's not the only result, but sometimes people just, when your mind's set on it, it is set. And I wish it didn't happen. I really wish it didn't. But that is what's happening. There's been an increase, especially in men. And I hate the fact that people keep saying man up to people at the moment. That's fucking disgusting. Such a wrong attitude to have. Like, if a man wants to cry, let him cry. If he wants to grieve, let him grieve. Like, stop telling people to man up or get over it or things will get better. Like, fucking help them. Don't just say one line to them and then be like, it's fine, I've done my part. No, there's a lot more that people can do in these situations. It sucks. And what I'm going to say about all of this, somebody told my uncle that, and they carried his coffin. And I bet you when they carried his coffin, they were there thinking, I should never have told him to man up. I hate it so much that that's become kind of like the norm. I cried at my dad's funeral. That's about it. I went out and drowned it in beer. Like, people have different ways of coping with stuff, but it's anybody. Like, I think this again might offend some people, I don't know. I think as females, we talk about it quite a bit, especially to one another. I think we do open up quite a bit. But I feel like there's such a stigma for men to kind of be these strong people that they think that they have to just not show any emotion. I'd rather see somebody cry than see somebody suffer in silence. And then if something like that ever happened, I'd be there going, fuck. Mine come from bullying from a young age. Disabled and not being the best looking guy in the world, plus being dumped and cheated on. It's sucky. And the worst thing is, regarding mental illness and some of these subjects, oh, I know, I do believe that men often get it worse than women, and I feel so bad that we've kind of got into this stage of society where we're all just saying men should man up. No, not the case at all. I've only known guys that have killed themselves, not women. That's the hard truth, Kelly, because now that I think about it, the same. And the thing is, with the things that I've just brought up there, a lot of them, when you suffer from one of them, tend to link to another. So, like, I suffer from anxiety. My anxiety's got so bad that then led to depression. And there's one in here that I didn't actually list, which was stupid. But insomnia. I suffer from insomnia, where you physically can't sleep. Like, all of this links together. So if you suffer from one, you might experience another one of them, which makes dealing with it twice as hard. But I think the main thing is talking about this stuff and identifying it right now is the best thing that we can do. Interesting statistics I read a while back, when the woman attempts suicide 3 times more than men, but 4 times, I think, more suicides are by men. Yeah, I heard that. There was a statistic in the UK not long ago where I think there was a ridiculous amount of number that they got of men who were like killing themselves twice as much as women in a week, and that's... I'm glad to say my insomnia isn't much, but I'm glad you're sort of like 10+ years. Like, my insomnia is my worst thing at the moment. That's what's knocking everything out of balance. Like, I'm getting like 3 hours sleep a night and I'm running off nothing. Bestie has attempted suicide 3 times. I still beat myself up about one of them. I could have invited her out, but didn't, and she took a fistful of pills that night. God. Like, And I want to get this clear. If somebody has taken their own life around you, please do not blame yourself and think now, I could have done so much more. There's no point reminiscing on the past, we can just learn from it. Like, let's not blame ourselves from stuff that we could have done better. We all have stuff that we regret. But I think the main lesson that we need to take away from this is that we need to learn from that and not let it happen again. Would have gone back to my school days and knew what I knew now, I think my life would have been different. Agree. I said this the other day to somebody at work that I think I wasted my school years worrying about the petty stuff, and if I would have realised what would have been going on now, I would have changed so many more things. But I can't dwell on the past that I now can't change. I can learn from it. Really bad insomnia too, so I take a lot of... Well, that's the thing. When I went to the doctor today to talk about my issues, the main one I brought up was the fact that I was really concerned about my sleeping at the moment. And they said they do not want me to go on any form of medication. One, because they said it as it is. I'm not stable enough to go on it for starters, but people can get very dependent on it. And I would like to find a better way of managing my sleep. It's going to be trial and error. So, should we start talking about treatments and like helpful stuff now, or should we keep discussing a little more? I need tips for sleeping a lot, man. Like, even though I had to be up at like 6 this morning, I couldn't sleep until around 3, half 3. And that's happening nearly every night. And it's crap. It's shitty. So, sorry, that went down the wrong hole. Shit. I mean, not sure if I've told you before, but I've been seeing a therapist. I think you've mentioned it to me briefly. I'm sure you've mentioned it to me, Chris. Can I come and knock you out, Nikki? You know, I've actually said to people, like, people have said to me, can I just knock you out? And I'm like, do it. You should also try medication. Cliche. You can't breathe liquid, Nick. I just made a mistake. 2 things that can make you want to sleep. That's the thing. Meditation. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Generally do want to try it. Because from what I've heard, it can be very beneficial to some people. Get out of the house every day. Well, this is something I need to remind myself, because I will announce this now. I am currently signed off work for the week because they changed my medication today and they want me to be able to deal with the side effects outside of work without work making them worse. And what I don't want to do this week is spend my days cooped up in the house. Like, I'm going to get out. I need to. I cannot sit within 4 walls for a week. Booze makes me sleepy eventually. I'm going to go for a bit more natural thing. I am currently on fluoxetine. So, this might be a good time to talk about some of my story, kind of. Like, not to sound in a selfish way, but like, maybe if you guys hear it, you can ask me some questions. Whatever you please. So, I don't remember exact time. 4 or 5 years ago, got into a really bad state, and quickly realised I shouldn't be feeling this way. And I went to the doctors. That's when they diagnosed... Let me get my medication, if I can find it. I put it in my makeup drawer because then I remember to take it every day. Ah! But, let me try and talk through it. Oh, there it is. So, the first set of medication that they put me on was sertraline. I don't remember the milligram for it or anything, but I trialled that out for 6 to 7 months. I went the full length that they told me that it would take for it to get into my system. Sertraline did not work for me in any way, shape or form. If anything, on my bad days, I felt like it put me into autopilot. So I'd maybe go to work that day, kind of just put this front on. As soon as I got back, I was like, what? Like, I couldn't remember what I'd done with my day because I was basically just on autopilot for the entire time. And then the stupid decision I made was to take myself off of any form of medication. Never ever do that. Never go off medication alone. Like, seek a doctor, do it the right way. And then it was 2-3 years ago. Again, really bad stage of depression hit me, where I was suffering from panic attacks nearly 2 to 3 times a day. My sleeping was non-existent. That's when they trialled me on sertraline again. This is because I went to a different doctor. They trialled me on sertraline again, even though I told them my experience did not work. And they also put me on another form of medication to deal with the panic attacks I was experiencing. Now, little did I know, the fucking medication they put me on was made for people who suffered from, like, heart palpitations. And it didn't work for me anyway. Like, I was told that they were meant to stop my panic attacks. Obviously, they weren't meant for that. They were meant for really controlling the breathing after. So when I quickly realised that this isn't right for me either, this was in November, they put me on Fluoxetine, what I'm on now. I just realised that I had my address on it. It's a good job I'm holding the box the right way. And up until recently, I felt like Fluoxetine was working for me very well. And obviously, within the past 2-3 months, with the incline of my mental health, I thought maybe they're not anymore. So when I went today, they have increased my dosage. So I used to be on, these capsules are 20 milligram. They've now doubled my dosage that I need to take every day. So I'll be now on 40 milligram a day. And they've booked an appointment for 2 weeks time and to see how I'm finding them. Now, what I will say about mental health people is there is no quick fix for it. It's a lot of trial and error, so be prepared for that. Don't think that you're going to wake up after taking one pill that they suggest for you or doing one thing they suggest and it's going to be done. How did you first bring up the issue to your doctor? That is... I'll be honest, I was shit scared to bring it up because I was almost in denial about the fact that I had anything wrong with me. Like, I put it to one side, I thought, these feelings will go away, everybody gets this. And eventually when I realised how bad my thoughts were getting and how bad my emotions were, my panic attacks were, I was like, something is not right and I should not be feeling like this. I have got a good life. I've got a stable job, a loving family, I've got a roof over my head, and I've got food, water. Like, I have nothing to complain about, and I was like, I should not be feeling this way. This isn't natural. And I think it got to the point where I was at wit's end with feeling like shit constantly and feeling drained and demotivated, that there was just this final pushing point after talking to my parents that I was like, I just need to bite the bullet and I need to go and speak to somebody. Like, you have to be prepared to make that first step. The only person that's going to help you through this process is yourself. And if you are somebody who is potentially suffering right now and you don't know how to do it, my suggestion is bite the bloody bullet. Ring up your doctor, get an appointment. And is it going to be scary as shit? Yes. Are you going to feel uncomfortable and scared? Yes. But once you have that general discussion with your doctor, I literally went in, they sat me down and they said, what can we do for you today? And I said, I'm generally concerned about my mental health. And after that, they started listing off stuff that made it so much easier for the conversation to get rolling, because I didn't know how to start. Exactly, Chris. It's one of the hardest things you will do, is making that first step. Exactly, you can have the best life ever, and it doesn't mean shit, because you can still be unhappy. Look, Look at some of the top movie stars that have taken their life, who have got fucking shitloads of money, they're famous. It's not all it's cracked up to be. I think people need to remember that. You don't need a lot of money to have a good life. You'd have a good life, I think you just need people around you that give a shit. And that might not necessarily mean family. Some people... Oh, thank you, Peggers. I'm glad you like my eyeshadow. But, like, I know some people don't get along with their family, and I know some people don't need to get along with their family. But as long as you've got even one person around you, then drugs can also help with the... They can, within reason. We'll discuss that in a minute. But I think as long as you've got a roof over your head, you've got food, you've got even a few friends, or even one really, really good fucking friend. The main thing, you just need to be... Your well-being needs to be good. Exactly, Chris. This is what I was going to dive into a little bit in a bit. But, like, you don't need lots of money, fancy cars, and a big house to be happy. You can find joy in many little things in life. Like, my main thing at the moment, and I'm not just saying this either, streaming means the fucking world to me. It's the one thing that my depression hasn't taken away from me. Because, for those of you who don't know, you tend to lose interest in the stuff that you really love. Guess what? This is something I love. I love being able to interact with people. And it's fucking great, especially with somebody who has social anxiety as well. This is a great way of me trying to get used to talking to people a lot more. But the hardest step will be the first one. And then please do not expect after that first initial talk that you are going to be a-okay and better. Mental health is for the long haul. Right. I don't like the way that this drug talk is going. Like, I do not encourage drugs as a way to help. Especially not stuff like ecstasy. Like, please just dial that down or I will time you out. Like, that's not a way to seek help necessarily. It's the same way as when people... Just because it's... Yeah, it's not a solution, in my opinion. And I think a lot of people in chat are agreeing right now. It's not a solution. That's fine. But what I'm just saying, like, it's another reason why I like these podcasts. Obviously, people chime in with different stuff. It's incredibly dangerous. Like, this is my main thing about it. It's incredibly dangerous. So I don't want to encourage drug use as a way to fix your issues. Because, in my opinion, that's not a healthy way of doing it. But if that worked for you, great, you do you. You know what? Just gonna time the person out because I don't like the way they're like, let's get into the main event of the stream. No, let's not. Let's leave you out of the equation, mate. Like I said, if that worked for him, you do you, but that is not a safe way of getting over your issues. Not at all. Like, I would never recommend that. Don't do it. And I think a lot of people who he said, well, oh yeah, it's helped a lot of people. Guess what? How many people have also died from that shit? Not worth it. But yeah, where are we? We're getting off topic and then I'd struggle to figure out where we are. And then I feel like I'm repeating myself. So, let's talk about like the first step of getting help. Is one, realising that you may have an issue. And don't self-diagnose yourself. Because I've seen some people who just feel sad for a couple of days and they go, I think I've got depression. And I'm like, please go and get yourself checked before you start saying that everywhere. I did, Chair. I did that today as well. I've discussed it in every single one of my appointments that I've had. And I will tell you something, that is the hardest shit I've ever had to say to somebody. Nah. Like, the first step is realising that you could potentially have an issue. And if you're anything like me, you were probably in a bit of denial about it, and you will put off going to see anybody for months and months and months until it gets really bad. I hold my hands up and say I do that. It's a stupid thing because I realise it very quickly that my health is on an incline, and then what do? I avoid seeing anybody. And then wonder why I'm getting worse. Like, not a way to do it. Your first step is realising, one, something's not quite right, I shouldn't be feeling this way. And then your hardest step, as we've just said, is the first initial doctor's appointment, or even discussing it with a family or a friend. Like, I think the first time you openly say it to somebody, there we go. If you ever feel really bad, Salem's dropped a few numbers for you guys. But, like, the first initial time that you say it out loud to somebody is horrible. I'll say it as it is. But after, it's almost like a bit of a release to know that you finally admitted it to somebody and somebody finally knows. Like, it broke my heart to, like, speak to my mum about it because I didn't want her to feel bad. And I think she was more grateful that I spoke to her about it. Wasn't an easy conversation to have with your loved one, but it's what I had to do. I had to at first admit that to somebody else before I booked my appointment. Then it's going to the doctor and discussing these. Now, my major advice for your first appointment that you make, please be honest with your doctor. Tell them everything, because they can't help you unless they actually know what's going on. And I know it's going to be difficult, and it's going to be very hard to try and get that kind of conversation going. But it's incredibly important that you tell them everything, otherwise they could give you something that wouldn't help you. And then you'll be there going, well, this isn't working, and then you give up on trying to get help. And that's not the case. There is no instant fix for a lot of these situations. People can spend years trying to find something that works for them. I'm still trying to find something that works for me. Like, Fluoxetine at the moment has been my best one up until recently, and obviously I'm going to try the new dosage and see what that does. But please, if you feel like you're suffering with any of the stuff that we have talked about, talk about it. This is why I wanted to do this podcast, because I don't, no matter how many times we retweet something on social media and be like, oh, here's some numbers for the Samaritans or whatever. That's not helping somebody. That's, yeah, possibly giving somebody a little bit of information, but that's not standing by somebody and helping them. I think we need to be a lot more open about talking about this stuff. I think, like, people say, oh, like, ask how your friends are doing. Let's generally ask our friends, like, are you okay? If you know a friend's got mental illness, guess what? Fucking check up on them. Because 9 times out of 10, somebody with mental illness will suffer in silence and will not bother their friends regarding the issue until sometimes you kind of have to force the conversation out of them. Like, people have had to do it to me. It is what it is. Like, it sucks. And, like, today... Actually, no, let's go on past experience. I came to the quick conclusion in November after my main decline. I was like, the only person that's going to be there for me 24/7 whenever I need them is myself. May not sound right at first, but I was like, I need to give myself all the tools I can to help myself as well. So I read a lot of self-help books. I learned on different ways of managing panic attacks and stuff like that. And some of it didn't work. It's trial and error. Like, that's something you very quickly learn with handling this kind of stuff. And, what was I on? So yeah, there was that. Oh, you can get timed out and all, mate. Other than medication, has your doctor ever... Yes, right, this is the part I'm going to discuss now. You kind of reminded me of what I was getting on to. So in today's appointment, obviously they asked me what was wrong, and I told them about the incline of my health. And this time they said, have you ever thought about therapy, counselling, psychotherapy, stuff like that? And I said, at this point, I'm willing to try it because there's no harm in trying something at all. Like, because this is something that could be very beneficial for me. I don't know. And so they've given me forms to fill out for 2 separate places. And by the sounds of it, I need to send off that form, wait for them to call me, and they almost kind of do like a phone interview so they can establish what kind of therapy or counselling they believe I need, and then I'll be put on a waiting list. Now, sadly, that is the way I know the NHS works at the moment. Obviously, I don't know how doctors and stuff like that work for every other country, but from the NHS, chances are you'll be put on a waiting list because obviously there's a lot of people dealing with mental health. And it could take up to 4 to 6 weeks for me to get my first appointment. But that is something I'm going to do because there's no harm in trying. Things last week didn't help me. Awful stuff happened. That's why I left a message I mentioned earlier. Step back a lot. This is the why I'm around much. That's fine. You know, if something happens in life, it's okay to kind of be by yourself for a little bit. Like, that is fine. Some people need that space first before they can open up about stuff. Like, that's what I do. So, I'm gonna get my forms done tomorrow for this therapy / counselling. A lot of it's, one of them, the main thing is obviously going to do with anxiety. That's my main problem, is trying to cope with that. Like, I've read a lot of things and they haven't exactly worked for me on how to deal with them. So I'm hoping from these I can establish what's potentially going to cause a panic attack and how I can deal with it better than I normally do. But then the other part of it is also dealing with this PTSD situation, which I know in that session it's going to be a hard one and probably going to feel shitty after it. But if it's going to be a step towards making me feel better, I will do it. Like, I've got to do it. And I say that in a way that I think sometimes you need to feel worse before you feel better, if that makes sense. So if that means I'm going to have to delve into some dark shit about my past, then so be it. I think, Nanny, that's fine. If, like, I know for a fact we've got quite a few people lurking who aren't even talking, and that's fine. If people are just listening, I've got no problem with that. The whole point of this wasn't that everybody needs to share something about themselves. That's not the point that I wanted to do. I just wanted to get people listening to what mental health is, what some of the symptoms are, what the stuff that's linked to it is, and then discuss a few stories and help out in any way that we can. Were you ever worried about possibly being sectioned under the Mental Health Act after discussing? I wasn't, simply because I even told my doctors that I could never do that. Even though the thoughts were there, like, I told them straight away, I was like, I could never do that. I don't think if they ever did section somebody, and I say this from somebody who has no experience on or any knowledge of anybody I know being sectioned for it, they're only doing that for somebody else's safety, like your own safety. Clearly we're getting some knobheads in chat today. It's a good thing I've actually got chat and I'm able to just like quickly read stuff and be like, oh, you're gone. So, I don't think you should be worried about being sectioned. I don't know if you can or not. I know whenever I've discussed it, the whole section topic has never ever been brought up. Yeah, it's not a helpful thing to put in chat, Dragon. Yeah, I knew we were going to get some trolls for this, and we don't realise that they're not helping the situation. If he was for real, then I'm sorry, he needed to go about that a different way. Like, I don't want the kind of negative stuff that this kind of topic can bring with it. Like, we're trying to help here. We don't want people... Like, I'll say this. I'm not a therapist. I'm not qualified for diagnosing anybody. Like, I'm not here to do that. I'm here to just try and get a discussion going. Point taken, but I can tell by the name. If that was somebody who wanted help, they would have gotten help. Not come into this stream and say it. Being sectioned is one thing I'm worried about. I kind of just want to deal with it and fix it without friends or family ever knowing. If that's the way that you want to go about it, you can do that. You don't have to share it with friends or family. You can just share it with your doctor. Or somebody that you trust not to say anything else. Like, you don't have to go to your family and friends. I can understand that you can almost feel like a bit of a burden about it. And I don't think anybody ever is in regards to it. But it's entirely up to the person. Like, you don't have to speak to family and friends. If you'd rather deal with it through just a doctor, do it. If you're worried about being sectioned, please don't be. I don't believe they would section anybody unless there was a real risk. My eyebrows, right here, mate, right here. Like, I'd rather you discuss it with them. I don't want you to worry about getting sectioned if you talk about it. I don't think they would straight away just go, you need to be sectioned. I think they would generally try and discuss with you first and try and get help. Yeah, I agreed with what Scott said. I'm legally blind. Sorry, I love that meme. But yeah, please don't let that be your main concern. They wouldn't do it. I prefer to go to friends and family. I'm adopted and can't seem to open up to them like friends. That's fine. This is what I mean. You don't always have to open up to friends or family. You could open up to just your doctor, or you could just open up to one person. Like, that's fine. I just decided that the first person I would speak to would be my parents. Then it was the doctor, and now learning what I know now and not having a platform of such, because I'm not... We can all see I'm not a big streamer. But I thought, let's get the discussion going. Like, let's do it. Like, let's help if we can. So, like, I will keep you guys updated on how I'm doing. Most girls' room like a shithole. Yeah, I don't deal well with mess. I don't enjoy mess. At all. Like, I will happily keep you guys updated. Mine's cleaner than ours. Kelly, I love that. Thank OCD and autism. You know what? Like, you've got to make jokes about some of this stuff. Like, if you don't laugh, you'll cry sometimes. And I'm always like, at least it's clean. Welcome back. A psychiatrist has to check you out. Yeah. Like... Well, that's what I mean, Nanny. I've heard this from friends before, that they were like, when... Talking about mental illness. Too much pink? Everything pink here is these. Everything else is white or grey. Apart from my penis right there, which is pink. Last thing, like, I've at work kind of become the person that people go to whenever they're in a bit of trouble. And people often say, I would never have thought you would have had depression, anxiety, OCD. And I'm like, yeah, because a lot of us are really good at hiding it. Like, I'll say it as it is. We're great actors. Like, Oscar, please, somebody. And not only that, I think I often change my mood to be what somebody else needs from me. Talking about your chair and headphones, the rest of your setup. Pink mess. No, my chair's not pink. These are lights that are actually purple. They just don't work at the moment. My desk isn't pink. My desk isn't pink. I mean, I've got fucking Songbird on here. Like, there ain't much girly on here. Oh, I just pressed something on my other monitor. There we go. Oh, no, I thought I fixed it. Shit. I fixed it. I've got smarts about me. But no, like, people never think I have it. Which is why I wanted to bring up the discussion, because I was like, maybe for the people who don't know, it'll be a surprise to them and we can get the ball rolling on this chit-chat. This chitty chat. It's all gone wrong. It's all destroyed. Fuck, it was going so well. So, but I think a lot of us who suffer tend to hide it a lot. I will hold my hands up and say I hide it. If I'm having a shitty day, 9 times out of 10, I'll just go into autopilot and be like, I'll be fine. And if somebody asks me, are you alright? I go, yeah. Like, I will admit I'm a compulsive liar when it comes to somebody asking me, are you alright? And I go, yeah, I'm fine. 9 times out of 10, no. Somebody asked it me the other day when I was on the verge of a breakdown, and they're like, you alright? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine, thank you, how are you? I hide my shit behind disgustingly horrible jokes. Yeah. Scott, I can account for that, mate. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. Listen, we all deal with it in different ways. And I think sometimes if we don't laugh, we'll cry about it. So we can make jokes here and there as long as they're not offending somebody else. Like, that's what I was deleting a lot of the trolls for out of the chat, because I don't want people to feel insecure about what we're discussing. That's not the whole point of this. I knew this chat would invite some trolls along. Can you guys see the chat on screen? You've seen multiple doctors, or did you find what? I have seen 3. I saw the first one I had, then the second one that introduced me to the stuff that never fucking worked and put me back on Searchling when I told them it didn't work for me, which quickly I was like, I'm never going back to that one again. Then I found the doctor that I seemed to think fitted me the most and was listening, and I went with her for 2 other appointments, and then for the emergency appointment I got today, it was back to the original doctor I first saw like 5 years ago, and she was another one that really helped listening. No problem, Kelly. Yes, we can. We'll prefer white background. Yeah, I was originally going to put like a border up behind it, and I thought, oh no, it'll just look cluttered, but now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, maybe I should, but then I'm going to have to sit right in this corner and be like, I'm not cut off. Were they from the same practice? They are from the same practice, because there aren't many practices near me. I live quite far out from everybody. I will admit my practice is pretty crappy. Like, I'll say that as it is. But I'd rather find somewhere closer to home than having to go out of my way. If I found a doctor that was out of my way that was absolutely fantastic, of course I would travel to go and see them. I do believe sometimes you have to switch through your doctors if you think that they don't have your best interests at heart, and that's okay to say. Just remember that just because one doctor gives you something that doesn't necessarily work, that doesn't make them a bad doctor. They go through different shit. She lives where they chuck rocks at the moon. Correct. Why is my music stopped? Give me one memento. Why have you stopped? I require music. Why? Where's my lofty music? Hello? Let's do that. Let's do that. Like, I live pretty far out from everything. And, like, my doctors are shit. Like, they tell you to ring up at 8 o'clock in the morning to get an appointment. You try and ring up, and as soon as you get through, they're like, right, all the appointments are taken up for today. Would you like to book one in advance? You go, yes. And then they go, oh, the next appointment's in, like, 2 or 3 weeks. Great. It just so happened that I rang up yesterday, and originally like, oh, we can't book any appointments at the moment. All of our computers are down. They ring back in a few hours. I was like, okay, yeah, sure. Rang back 3 hours later, and they went, oh, luckily, the person who just called before you had a cancellation. Would you like it for tomorrow morning? I was like, I'll take it. Otherwise, it would have been a 2-week wait. Some come across as can't chat to them. Yeah, like, the thing is, doctors will do whatever they can to help you. But if you feel like your doctor doesn't have the best interest at heart, like, ask for another one. And don't, just because they gave you, maybe they put you on some form of medication and it doesn't work for you, don't then say they're a bad doctor. Like I said, this is a learning curve. Like, you have to go through a lot of trial and error to find something that works for you. That's the way it is. I meant to say. True. So yeah, I found 2 that work reasonably well for me, and I feel like do have my best interest at heart. And that's fine. Like, my fringe is bugging me, sorry. Sidetracked here, sidetracked. But it's learning curve. I now know that. I originally, when I first started all this, I was like, it's gonna be an instant fix. There is no instant fix. Did they ever seem like slightly skeptical? The second doctor I saw that put me on the pills that were meant to be like what he said were for panic attacks and weren't they, were for heart palpitations. He kind of seemed to rush me as if he wanted to be like, right, let's get this over and done with. Do you think they were mental health depression issues hundreds of years ago? Probably. I don't know. I wasn't here 100 years ago, but I can imagine something like that was around. But obviously, 100 years ago, they probably didn't have doctors like ours do now that have all this advanced technology to look into this stuff. Yeah, those people just had to suffer. That sounds horrible, but they didn't have doctors that are advanced as ours, that have the technology that ours do. That brings me to another thing, actually. Medication. I know some people have concerns about it. Some people don't like the idea of it. My thing about medication, because originally I was always like, I would love to get off medication and do this my own way, but I know that that's not got my best interest at heart at the moment. Like, that's not going to help me. So antidepressants are not something that's going to take away everything. They're not going to take away the bad days. They're not going to take away some days not having any motivation and stuff like that. What they are there to do is lighten the load, basically. So all the issues that you are carrying, they will take away a tiny little portion of them just to make what you are living with slightly easier. Do not expect them to take away everything. That's not what they are made for. They are there to assist, if that makes sense. I hope I've explained that correctly, and I hope people understand what I'm saying by that. So, the main thing is, and I've got this written down because this is something that I thought of earlier, and I was like, this sounds right. It's not going to be easy. Your first steps in dealing with mental illness, it's going to be fucking difficult. Like, I'm not going to bullshit you. It's going to be hard. But people can make it through this. I'm making it through. The one piece of hair, you know, Pega's just, I hate it. But you're going to make it through this. If I can make it through this, a lot of people can. And the waiting and the struggling and the trial and error is worth it, because in the end, when you find stuff that works for you, you'll feel so much better. You know what? Fuck that piece of hair. You can go there, mate. I fixed it. Just on same ones. That's the thing. Some people will find the medication that works for them and stick with it. Like, if somebody finds the medication that works for them straight away, fucking wonderful. Good on ya. But chances are, it doesn't always happen that way. But it is what it is. I want to take this conversation going. Just tie it all back. Face, fucking hell. Like, I'm going up to 60 milligrams soon. If that's what the doctors have recommended, that think they could possibly help, then trial it. There's no harm in it. Like, originally I was like, I don't really want to up my dosage on these, but if they believe this will help with my current situation, bugger it, I will do it. Quite happily, I will do it. Trust my epilepsy meds were messed so long, I nearly died like 1,000 times. Trial and error. Trial and people may seem disheartened as well if I say this, but it is what it is. You have to be prepared for this. There's no instant fix. That's my shoulder. Oh, I'm revealing a bit of skin. How provocative. Let me fix this bit as well. I was gonna say, like, you have to trial this stuff out before finding out what works and what doesn't for you. That's the only way you're gonna figure it out. But I have a very, very, very kind friend who has has sent in his story about his dealing with stuff. So I'm going to share it. Obviously, I'm going to keep him anonymous. You'll get stoned to death if you carry flashing those shoulders. Fuck. But this is what he has to say. Now, he summarised it very briefly because obviously there's some stuff he probably doesn't want to go into in detail. But can I just say, this person, because you know who you are because you sent it to me, and obviously I will not say your identity, but thank you for sharing it, and I think you are incredibly brave for doing this. So this is what somebody sent in to me. So, basic details that I already know. Obviously, I'm not going to go into detail about them. I'm only going to put what this person said. So, this person's mum passed away in January of 2018. And from what this person has put, I never dealt with it in the healthy way and bounced in and out of depressive tendencies for months, but thought I was through the worst of it. A year later, this February, things hit rock bottom. I became reclusive, stopped eating properly, stopped doing the things I loved that I was doing before. But good friends helped pull me through it, even if they didn't know what I was going through fully. Now I'm counselling and starting to pick myself back up again. Moral of the story, it's never too late to grieve, and it's never wrong to need or ask for help, no matter how much further down the line you are. And I couldn't agree with that more. No matter what stage you are in, if you're grieving, if you are suffering from something, it's never too late to ask for help. Never, ever. And then the person also added, oh, and one small addition. Everyone grieves and deal with their personal and mental issues uniquely. I found my solution and first step to healing in the middle... Can't get my words out today, sorry guys. The first step to healing in the middle of a theatre show. So be open to taking the first step. It could be anywhere. And I couldn't agree with that more. You will find something that can maybe make you realise what you're going through. That may be the first step to taking help. So, I don't know, you may see something and go, I deserve help at this point. Like, stuff like this can happen to you at any stage in life. It can happen to kids as young as 6 to elders as old as, I don't know, 80. You can go through this at any stage in life, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. It's nothing to be afraid of. It happens. It's very, very, very common nowadays for people to have mental health issues. Even if they're not long term, they can be short term, but they can still be just as serious. Like, Just saying it as it is. So, all I'm going to say is this person, you are an absolute gem. And I can't thank you enough for sharing your story with us. I think you're incredibly brave, and I'm glad that you are on the right track, because you're a lovely person. You really are, and I'm not just saying that. And they also sent me this handy dandy little video. If you guys would like to take a look, let me just get it up. I'll put a link in chat. And it's very much on what we touched on earlier. It's the Man Up campaign. So if any of you guys want to check it out, it's right there. It's linked you straight to YouTube. Don't worry, it's not some dodgy virus that's going to infect your computer. Or is it? But like, anything can trigger this kind of thing. It could be something really minor, or it could be something as major as losing a loved one. So, this is why I wanted to do this. Let's get talking. But I watched 40 milligram is like 100 milligram of sertraline, and ones you're on now are actually for depression, different compound in the med that helps you. Thank you, Danny. To be fair, they haven't really talked me through this. They have just, obviously, because I've been taking it for long enough, they just assume that I know. And I'm going to take my pills right now, because I haven't taken them today. I've just remembered. Great start. Great start, mate. So let me take them now. If anybody else would like to add anything, please don't be afraid. We're all human here. Well, some of us are. I'm a robot. First one. I hate taking tablets. Ugh, I hate them. There we go. Pills consumed. Pills here. Let me have a look. What else have we got? I had a few other bits and bobs. Get rid of that. And I mean, if you don't think medication, I can do tablets without drink. It sucks, but I can do it. I can't. The only tablet I can take without anything is my contraceptive pill. Because it's the tiniest little tablet in the world. I always take mine around 9 PM. You see, I'm not gonna lie, they haven't told me to take them at the same time every day. And originally I tried taking them in the morning. I always forgot, because not only that, if I woke up late, I was less likely to take them. So I just tend to take them midday normally, but obviously today with everything I've had going on, I've forgotten. And that's my fault. And I will hold my hands up and say, I did not do what I was meant to do. Let me just change the chat colour for a minute, because I can't even do tablets with normal water, although they taste so bad. Take it with flavoured juice. Hello there, person. Welcome to the chat. I'm just going to change the chat box quickly. I'm going to change the font to white. Where am I? Oh no, I think I've just wiped it. Oh, what I broke it. Guys, I broke it. Or have I broke it? Let me test it. Oh no, it still comes up. Plus I can take any tablets without any water or anything. How? Stream dead, date game over. Not dead. I just broke something slightly. Because now you can see the white better. Originally, you know, when it was like light outside and the sun was shining and all that bullshit, like happy-go-lucky. Because my room's mostly white, you couldn't see it. But now, since it's darker, you can get white text now. How cute. How fucking cute, motherfuckers. But yeah, like, as I was on about, if you think that tablets aren't for you, then you could always do the self-help route. Again, I still believe this is part of trial and error. I did a lot of self-help in regards to reading because I love to read. And I purchased a lot of books from Amazon. Because as soon as you type in self-help on Amazon, they come up with a variety of books. So like you've got Good Vibes, Good Life. How to self-love is key to unlocking your greatness. And like some of them sound cheesy as fuck. I'm not gonna lie, some of them sound horrific and they make me want to throw up rainbows and kittens, but they're very helpful. Like there's one called Happy by Fern Cotton, which looked like a unicorn had thrown up on the pages, but it's very helpful. There's another one called Help Me. You are a badass, how to stop doubting your greatness and start living an awesome life. Like I love titles like that. There's a book on my nightstand over there that's literally called Get Your Shit Together. And that's great. Like, what else have we got? How to be fucking awesome. Fuck anxiety. Hardcore self-help. Yes. Bright Clean Mind. The Mind Monster Solution. Made for More. The ultimate self-help. Like, honestly, you can get self-help anywhere. You don't even need to buy books. You can get a lot of this online. Like, a lot of it's available for free at your fingertips just by looking up the right places. Like, Happy by Darren Brown. Bloody hell, I thought he only did some weird shit. Unless they are overpowered ones sometimes if I do that. Oh, I know. Using positive psychology every day. Bloody hell. I can't speak. Fuck yourself better. Like, self-help isn't for everybody. Like, it helped me to some degree. But I think it's a nice little reminder if you haven't got access to the doctor straight away to have something to hand. Anxiety, panicking about panic, like, fucking true. A little book of mindfulness, like one of them that I have to hand right now. For those of you who don't know, I'm very interested in witchcraft and practice a little few things myself. I have this. The Witch's Book of Self-Care. This has been wonderful for me. Like, this helped a lot. That's why I keep it to hand every once in a while, because it's got some really helpful stuff. Like, let me find one. It can make you put your teeth... What? How dare you? How dare you? But, like, this stuff's taught me how to make, like, sleep mist and how to actually have a relaxing bath. Can I just say, that sounds stupid, I know. It's helpful as shit. Like, yesterday, one of the things I did to make myself feel a little bit better was dye my hair and put on a face mask. And it brightened my mood a teeny bit, but it was a bigger improvement than it was originally. So, fuck it. And now, I've got grey hair. I'm going old. No, I'm joking. I love having grey hair at the moment. It's great. I like having it. But there's all sorts, like... No, I found a bookmark. Where was I at? Questioning and planning help. Like, self-help can be very useful for some people. Obviously, it doesn't work for everybody. Can't stress that enough. Just because one thing works for somebody doesn't mean it's going to work for you, necessarily. But that is fine. That is absolutely fine. You're going old at young age. The stress has got to me. The stress has got to me already. I've had enough of this bullshit. I'm accepting my grey phase. No, I love it. I love it. It's not fully grey, obviously, but it's getting there. Listen, I'm beating aging to it. Fuck it. That's my way around it. Beating it to the punch. I don't know. Have we got anything else to discuss? Is there anything else you guys would like to discuss and talk about? Because originally, I was only planning for this to be an hour long, and we've been going for nearly 2 hours, which I'm very proud of, that we've been speaking for this long about this topic. I've loved this. I think this has been great. I don't know about everybody else. Maybe you didn't enjoy it, and if you didn't, then that's okay. My soul won't be too hurt, I guess. But I've enjoyed it. It's been fun. It's been fun to talk about a serious matter. Surprisingly, if that makes sense. I think we've discussed a lot of helpful topics, and the main thing thank you, Nanny. I was worried. This is my main concern about this podcast. One was the topic that we were discussing, but two, would I be able to keep up the conversation for long enough to keep people entertained? And I think I have done to some degree. Like, I'm not gonna lie. We've had a lot of people in here, which I'm surprised at. Like, damn, there's a lot of people. I mean, yes. If we have discussed enough on this issue for today, obviously, during any of my streams, you can discuss mental health with me. I will more than happily discuss it with you. Just remember, I am not a counsellor. I cannot give you a diagnosis. I cannot prescribe anything to you. I can just give you advice and try and give you a few words of encouragement to get you through. But I will happily do the podcast again in, like, we do them weekly. If this is going to carry on, we could do them weekly. We should talk about England. Lewis, England's a mess. Like, let's just admit, England is a mess. But yeah, like, let's discuss topics then. What other topics would you like to see? I know I briefly mentioned a few. So, like, the other day I mentioned the gaming industry. I mentioned female streamers, because we get a lot of shit recently. I'm not just there trying to be like, oh, woe is me. I'm being like, generally we get a lot of shit. Or if you would like to discuss about fetishes, even though I have nada experience in that, but I know a lot of people say fetishes are taboo. They're not. Let's discuss them if you want to. I just want one, like, general topic that we can focus on for each thingy, because then I can look into, like, a broad spectrum of information for it all. But I'm not gonna lie, Lewis, England would be an interesting topic to discuss on. Well, I don't know what the fuck's happening with England. England's fucked. We've got Brexit. Our next Prime Minister looks like he's gonna be a fucking idiot. Like, bollocks. Absolutely bollocks. I know one streamer I'm friends with, and they go for like 3.5 hours non-stop. So we call them triple motor mouth. Oh, talk for England. Oh, I thought you meant about England. Fuck. Am I the voice of England now, Lewis? Am I the voice of England? I fucking hope not. I'm not the best person to represent England at all. I'm glad we're getting near to the end as well, because I've got the perfect amount of drink. I mean, if the boot fits. Well, currently, Lewis, I'm not wearing boots. I am wearing Harry Potter slippers. You just saw my pyjamas. How dare you? Don't look at me. Don't judge me. I've also got a Harry Potter cauldron mug, if you haven't noticed already. You probably can't see because my ring light's getting in the reflection of it. Fucking hell. Bastard. I'll take my slipper off and show you properly. Oh, they're very wrecked. Please don't judge my, don't judge the fact that my slipper's very old, but look. I love them. I wish they were Slytherin ones. I'm probably going to be moving back to the UK. Ooh, Crease. Is that a decision that you're happy about, or are you kind of being not forced to move here against your own will, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Got a... Oh yeah, you did, didn't you? Damn, I'm such a... I've got the memory of a goldfish. Can people remember this for the future? Memory of a fucking goldfish, mate. Will you be moving back to this sunny place? You know which sunny place I'm referring to. Where you've got spice heads on every corner. Made your day. See my full screen. I'm sorry that you've all had to suffer through my face for the past, like, 2 hours. I couldn't figure out any other layout of how a podcast would work well. But I think I've now realised we need one. The chat to just be blocked out, so you can't see my hand through it, if that makes sense. I don't know how to describe it. I want to do something about my banner, because I don't particularly like it at the moment. I don't know. I like the introduction to the events list, and obviously I've kept my goals there. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I've actually enjoyed discussing this. I thought it'd be difficult to talk about, and it's actually been quite a release for me as well. I was on my way home the other week, Spice Heads were having a rave around the Bluetooth speaker and the phone box. Living the dream. Living the dream, that's what that is. Great. Oh, God. Right. Taylor, we have discussed that it's okay not to be okay. Okay. Right, come on guys, topics for next week. I need a topic. If you want this to continue, you need to give me ideas. Classy as fuck town centre. Listen. They serve class in a glass in town centre. So I'm glad I don't need to go near there anymore. The only time I ever go down there is when I need to get a new piercing, and I'm like, I'll have to survive town for like an hour. Refreshment. How about Brexit? I'm not discussing Brexit because I don't have a fucking clue what's happening. Our country's a mess. Not that. I'm really not into politics. Like, I would be the worst person to discuss Brexit with. I don't get it. Nobody explains it properly. They all talk in mumbo jumbo. I don't understand. Brexit can go fuck itself. England is fucked to the end. Perfect. Perfect. Couldn't describe it better myself. Really could not describe it better myself. Oh, God. I still see next week's topics should be if a hot dog in a sandwich or not. I'm going to answer this question for you right now, Liz. No. Stop it. I'll tell you what I am going to link you to. One of my favourite YouTubers, Jenna Marbles. Absolutely fantastic lady. Often makes me laugh. Has released a video yesterday. Because one of her friends that she streams PUBG with said he liked the idea of a corn on the cob, but instead of the bone of the cob, you would get a hot dog in it. So she attempted to stick sweet corn to a hot dog. And it's magical. I'll link it in the chat. You guys can gander it after. It's 15 minutes of quality content. Fuck off with your advert. Hot dog is technically... Oh, we're not getting into this discussion. It's not a burrito. Not a burrito. It's not a burrito. Oh shit, I can't share it on here. Why can't I share... I can't share links. How bad is that? I can't even share links on my own channel unless I go through my phone. Nah. God damn it. Right, let's... How the fuck do you copy a link, man? Copy link. Look at that. Oh! You're gonna irritate me with this fucking hot dog chart. It's not a wrap either. Not a wrap. I think you guys need to get your priorities straight. It's not a wrap. It's not a burrito. I think we need to stop. Time to stop. But right now. Right. That is the Jenna Marbles video. Please watch it. It'll be 15 minutes of your life that it will be high quality content, laughter. Honestly, you know, during bad days, I tend to go to Jenna's videos just for 20 minutes of a laugh because they're hilarious. I'll say it as it is. I'm okay with that. My dad's so pissed off. Yeah, Brexit's fucked. Like, let's just all agree. Fucked. You know what else is fucked? This discussion about a hot dog. It's not a burrito and it's not a wrap. I'm sorry. Just stop it. I'm triggered. So tempted to pull my eyelashes off right now because you've triggered me. You potatoes, how dare you? How fucking dare you? I think I've lost the plot entirely at this point. What time is it? Probably messed with the melon. No, hot dog is not sandwich. It's chair. Do not. Do not. Right, let me change the name of this stream right now, because the problem is people are going to come in thinking we're still talking about mental health, and instead we're talking about, is hot dog a sandwich? It's not. Next week. I can't type. Oh my god, I can't spell for shit. Okay. I mean, if you want to really get into it. Hello, welcome. Welcome to this discussion that is now about hot dogs and whether they are sandwiches. They are not. They are not placed between two pieces of bread. It's one bun that is cut. Oh god, this discussion got way out of hand. I love it. I love it. Oh my god. You guys are jokes. I swear you all just want to push my buttons, and I'm a-okay with that. Let me just close down my Word document now, because we've gone through everything that I had jotted down on here. I want to ask a question. Which of these places would you rather live? If you won the lottery, Mayfair, London, England, Beverly Hills, California, United States, Gold Coast, Queensland, Australia, or Toronto. Ooh. I'd probably live in Toronto. I wouldn't mind living in Canada. It's cold. I like the cold. Oh. No, 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 don't remove the chat box. Damn it. Okay, it's fixed. It's not a burrito. A hot dog is not a burrito. What's wrong with you? Let me turn up my light a bit now that I've closed that down. Oh, wrong light. Oh no, that's too bright. You can see everything. But wrap would kind of be... What is wrong with you guys? A hot dog's a hot dog. It's its own subclass. On the menus at work, we do not put hot dog in the same category as sandwiches. It goes on main meals. You're testing my patience. You're testing my fucking patience, man. Fuck. Oh god. If you want to see something funny about hot dogs, watch one of the Tom Hanks first. You know, I'm done. I'm done with hot dogs. They're banned from chat. They're banned. Don't want to deal with them. Fuck hot dogs. How did we get onto it from a serious conversation about mental health awareness to hot dogs? If you squish a hot dog into a square shape form, put it on a chair. Oh. What is wrong with you all? What is wrong with you? Oh, I'm dying. Oh god, I almost knocked something over. stop talking about hot dogs? Let's have a serious discussion while I eat caramel M&Ms. Because I've had enough of this topic. I've had enough. We're going to be coming up with what we talk about for next week's podcast. Hot dogs aren't serious, Lewis. You see, I'd share my M&Ms with you all, but you're all talking about hot dogs. Peggers. Peggers. Me and you are going to have issues. Me and you are going to fight. There was a rumour that Jimmy Chung's used seagull beat and M&M shell down my throat instead of chicken. That's gross. I don't even know what Jimmy Chung's is, but I'm gonna stop now. 1 second. You guys can't see this. I have my LED lights from my monitor in like a pinky colour. One side of it's just gone red, but they're all connected. Did I break them? Yeah, because now they've gone... One side's white and now one side's green. Fix yourself. Oh. Yep. When did we get onto this topic? Who brought up hot dogs? Who brought this up? It was Lewis. This is why we worry about you having candles, Nikki. The candles do their own shit, like, I just like the fuckers. Lewis, I'm having a word with you after stream about what you've caused. You've caused this ruckus. Why? We've had enough of discussion now. We've done the discussion. But the candles aren't near me when I'm streaming. Look, this candle I can touch, but I have to lean back to touch it. The other one, on my bedside table. I can't touch shit over there. I've got T-Rex arms. They're short and little. I can't reach. I can't reach. Well, my phone just vibrated. I'm popular, I'm sorry. Right. Focus, guys. You're short and little. I know. I accept that. Right. Serious. Everyone, get into your serious faces. I want nothing but you fall over and can't get back. Yeah, constantly. No. Right. This is out of control. This is out of control. I want a serious suggestion for a topic for next week. Hot dogs and sandwiches are off the table. I'm going to start timing people out. How about that one? I'm joking, obviously. I wouldn't. Go on, Kelly. Please suggest it because these guys won't shut the fuck up. And salad. I'm not talking about salad. Jumping from... We started off so strong, guys, and what happens as soon as I asked for a topic for next week, all we got was hot dogs. Talk about breaking wind for next week's topic. Wow. The effects of the hot dog discussion on the... You'll see me rocking in my chair for next week's podcast being like, the hot dog discussion is fucking it up. Let's talk about how most guys think girls can't play video games. Enjoy them. Oh, Kelly, I'd love that discussion. I did actually mention that, like, let's talk about female streamers in one of our topics, because people seem to think us we got tatas, we got it easier. No! Not the case. I would legit do that as a topic if people are interested in hearing that. Yep, biggest streamers are lads. We don't get any. Lewis is down for it. Who else wants to talk about female streamers next week? Coming from a biased female streamer. And the biggest girl doesn't even have a quart. Exactly. I mean, Pegas, look at me. I'm getting mega views right now. What am I at? 13 it says on here, but I know sometimes Twitch says differently. Because I'm not going to lie, next week will probably be a bit more of a debate, I think, because with the title of Let's Talk About Female Streamers, that's inviting a lot of people in to troll. But I don't give a shit, like, it's something that I would legitimately talk about. Because people think we have it easy. When, really, no we don't. At all. I think a lot of the time people don't take us seriously because we're female streamers. So it makes it twice as hard. So how about get fucked? Actually, I shouldn't be saying that now, should I? That should be for next week's topic. So let's definitely rule that as like our number one so far. Have we got any other possible suggestions? If you want to avoid trolls instead of female streamers, you could talk about clickbaity streamers, true. I suppose it depends on if one wants to be taken seriously or wants cheap views. I used to love streaming back in the day. Like school, yes. There are one. I think the majority of Twitch fan base is probably under 14 boys who will only watch guys if they go. True. Right, let's not get into the full discussion now, because this is all perfect stuff that we could be discussing in a week's time on another podcast, or I might do it a little bit earlier. I don't know. Let's just say this. If I do start up this kind of thing regularly, I will not be able to do it on set days, because for those of you who don't work, my work schedule is fucked. I do not have the same routine for work every week. So it's like, I'm meant to be off today anyway without even being signed off work, but next Thursday I was meant to be working, so I wouldn't have been able to do this kind of thing then. We could just talk about streamers in general as a whole, but like being the main focus of female streamers. Because I feel like if I put the title of Let's Talk About Streamers, it's not then inviting people into troll who are going to see something like Let's Talk About Female Streamers and then go, let's now start taking the piss. Yeah, our jobs do give us strange hours. Very much so. Like tomorrow I was meant to be on an 8x4 and Saturday I was meant to be on a 6 AM. Let's talk about Nikki. Oh, me? Me? What an idea. No, you guys will have enough of hearing it. You've probably already had enough of my voice. It's been 2 hours and 10 minutes of no gameplay, just talking, and you probably want to rip out your ears. I don't fucking blame you. Let me... Because obviously we will be ending stream soon. I just want to see if there's any streamers on tonight that I can... Moose is streaming! I'm going to pass you guys over to Moose later. Girls' aimers need to step up their game. Pegas! Ooh! You asking for a fight? That's how I used to put up with you all day. It's fine. If I tell my doctor... You know what, Chair? I'm going to say yeah. You'll get a section for that. 1 feet, 1 me. Fight me as a Moira. I punch a bitch. So, have we got any other suggestions for topics next week other than streamers, or are we dead set on that being the topics? I don't mind. I just want to have it open. Because if we had more than one topic that we wanted to discuss, I would probably do like a poll on Twitter that'd last for the week that you guys could just chime in on. Or in your face. You know what, bitch? Peggers, me and you, gonna fall out. How about sex? I mean, I did say we could discuss fetishes, because that's something I would happily educate myself on, because I don't have a fucking clue. I'm uneducated as fuck. TV shows and movies. Let me get my pen and my paper. What I will do, guys, is since we have a few topics now, I will set up a poll on Twitter, which if you would like my Twitter, it is linked down below, or you can just find me on @it's_Nikki with 2 eyes 96. I will set up a poll. Entertainment as a whole. I mean, I'm a film student, so I could probably discuss films all day and TV quite happily. So what have we got? You get thousands in chat. That would be true. TV and movies. I've got a media degree as well. Me and you, Peggers, like, even though we're having a 1v1 right now, you're on the same wavelength as me. Or what else did somebody put? Entertainment as a whole. So we've got streamers, entertainment. That's what we'll class it as. Because there's a lot we could talk about if we did entertainment. Maybe we leave the fetish stuff until we've settled into this podcast routine a bit more. Let's start with some... Well, I say let's start with easy subjects, but look at the subject that I picked for my first one. Nanny! No hot dogs! Should we have those as our, like, 2 for next week to debate on? So I'm literally... I was going to say, damn... Lewis, if I talk about food, I'm inviting people in to call me a chubster, and that's fine. I'm okay with that, but... God damn. Motherfucker. Right, let me do a poll right now on Twitter. For next week's Witching our podcast topic. But Nanny beat me to the hot dog. Shit! Let's just put streamer, then entertainment. Oh, I can't get my words out on thingy. I've put for next week's Witching Hour podcast topic. What would you like to talk about? Length of the poll. Let's go for... Let's do 4 days, because I don't know when we'll next do the podcast. Part of me really wants to move it forward, because I enjoyed this. Right. The poll is now up as we speak. So, I wonder if I can share it. Movies, TV shows could be separated. And they could. I found this, Nanny, like, I was worried about doing this topic. I'm not going to lie, because obviously it was a heavy one. But I think we've done it in the right way, where we've made it not fun necessarily, but like we've been upbeat about it. Like we haven't dragged it down. Like we've had laughs in between it. Like I think that was the main thing I wanted, is not to make this feel like shit. Like I wanted this to feel good for everybody. Let's do that. Let's... Oh no, let's not send the link through direct message. Where can I do it? Share tweet via... I'm gonna have to copy it to clipboard, aren't I? Oh, we're doing combos. Why wouldn't it let me just copy the link? Copy to clipboard. I don't know what my clipboard is. I've had this phone for like 2 years and I don't know what my clipboard is. God, what the fuck is that? I know a topic for 1 week. Let's talk about wrestling. Let's talk about WWE because that shit excites me. Ah, I have got it. Right, I've just shared the link to my Twitter, and that'll link you directly to the poll, so get fucking voting. Let's talk about Nikki Love, Nikki Life. Yeah! Let's just chat. Let's have a chit chat. WWE was awesome. Listen, Becky Lynch is my bitch. She not only beat Lacey once, she beat her fucking twice. Oh. Lewis! How dare you? How fucking dare you? Did you hear about... I did hear. Have I watched that vid yet? Oh, I don't know if I have, Scott. I've got the memory of a goldfish. I can't remember what I did this morning. So, you're asking the wrong question, my friend. So, should we leave it at that then for tonight, guys? Because this has been incredibly fun. And originally the Witching Hour was only meant to be an hour long. And we have now been going for 2 hours, 18 minutes and 45 seconds. How crazy is that? Turn into wrestling. I'm going to turn to gaming. I'll have to have a look at it after Threb. But yeah, I think this is where we end it for tonight. Chair. Boy, I'm gonna fucking fight you. I'm gonna fight a bitch. Before I threaten anybody else, I think I'm going to close off stream for tonight because you know what? This has been amazingly fun and I can't thank you all for joining me tonight. It's been fucking great. Like, I've loved this. And I'm glad by the sounds of it that you guys have enjoyed it. If you obviously want to see more podcast stuff, let me know. This has been very beneficial. I've learnt a lot. Oh yeah. Shane O'Mac got fucked. Sorry, I hate Shane with a passion. So when Undertaker came out, I'm not gonna lie, I was there in the background going, fuck yeah! I fancy hot dog. You know what, Peggers? Go get some fucking hot dog. Don't bring it into my chat. I like the fact that I'm actually yelling at my chat. Like, I feel bad because I don't look at the camera a lot. I look at chat as if I'm speaking to you guys directly. So I'm like... But yeah. Right. I'm going to leave stream there tonight. Thank you. For you lovely lot. For joining me. I hope you found the podcast tonight insightful. Thank you for those of you who contributed, who shared your story, who just joined in the conversation. It's been lovely. Yes. Who are we thanking today? So we had Living Dead Witch with a host straight away at the beginning of the stream because she's an absolute babe. You should all go and check her out. Let me give her a shout out quickly since it didn't work at the beginning of the stream because chatbot was broken. You guys probably know who Kelly is because I speak to her all the time. She's an amazing person. She's lovely. Give her a follow. Yeah. And then also we had... the unfunctional chair for the follow. Thank you, my dear, and thank you for chiming in. And then we also had, as I'm going to pronounce this person's name, Tix, because I said I could. Thank you as well for the follow. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys for staying with me for so long. Thank you for listening to me drone on and on and on. And I hope you all have a very good night. I'm going to pass you guys over to the Mexican Moose, who is an amazing streamer who deserves all the love in the world. We're going to raid him. So let me get the raid ready right now. I hope you all have a really good night, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining in. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll be playing Alien Isolation for Freaky Friday. I may get drunk. We'll see. But I'm going to shit myself again, basically. So thank you, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Goodbye.